Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Minnie. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in the small rural town of Keansburg, Colorado. I'm back today to do a card for you, and we're going to feature quite a bit of stuff from the new Celebration catalog. Most of my customers should have already received this catalog in the mail directly from Stampin' Up! And it is actually our mini catalog that runs from January to June, and it's got some really neat, cool stuff in there. A mistake on my part, I assumed that when they sent out the mini catalog, they would also send out the Celebration brochure. For those of you that don't know, Celebration is a promotion that Stampin' Up! Runs. Normally it's from January to March. This year they have changed it, and it is going to be goes from January 5th to February 28th. And in this little brochure, there are several items that you can earn free by your purchases. So a lot of them, with every $50 you buy, you can earn one. And then there's a couple of them in there that if you buy $100 worth of merchandise, you get some other choices that usually involve paper and a stamp set or something similar to that. So today we're going to feature this card here. Sorry, I've got a lot of stuff on my desk this morning. So this is the card we're going to make today, and I made it into a thank you card, and it is a long slimline card, and I also made and decorated an envelope. I've also done this card in our normal size, which would be the A2 size, and I made this one into a happy birthday card. And so today I'm going to try and show you that if you get a layout that you like, that you are pleased with, you can make it into any card, change out your paper, but just keep the basic card layout and just change it up however you want. So to begin with, I'll leave this card out so I can see what we're doing in our packet. Well, let's see, before we start with that, let me show you what we're going to be using. So this is a wonderful greeting set. If any of you are needing a greeting set, I would consider this. You'll find this in the actual mini catalog. It's called Happy Thoughts, and it is just all different greetings. I'm using the Happy Birthday, and I've also used two of the inside greetings, and that's what I like about this stamp set. Not only do you have greetings for the outside, but you have a couple that can work inside and be very, very nice. And then from our Celebration brochure, we're going to use another great stamp set that I will keep always in my stash. It's called Heal Your Heart, and I love the fonts. It has wonderful sayings. Today we're going to be using the thank you sentiment. We're also going to be using some beautiful paper that you can get for free with a $50 purchase. This paper is called Paper Blooms. And it has bright, beautiful flowers on one side. You get 2 sheets of each design. It's very pretty. Here's some big polka dots or watercolor dots, and then some more beautiful flowers. And then on the other side, it has, here's the last one. I didn't show you that. And on the other side, it has different, more subtle patterns. Today we're using this one. I've already made a card similar to what we're doing today with the blue. We have some greens and just some different and a beautiful stripe. So it's really a nice pad of paper. It's usual Stampin' Up! High quality, thick designer series paper. Excuse me, I'm going to grab a drink of water. I'm starting my allergy season, I guess. For those of you that are my students and my customers and are aware of the fact of how I've been struggling with nosebleeds, I think, praise God, I have finally turned the corner on that. If I make it through till tomorrow, I will not have had one for an entire week, which is a huge record for me because they were a daily and sometimes 2 or 3 times daily occurrence. We're also going to be using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This is another set of dies if you want some different shapes. I use this one so often, and it's just a great set. And then we'll be using, the only ink color that we're using today is Rococo Rose. This is an in color that we'll be retiring in June, so I'm trying to use up a lot of my supplies in the retiring in colors for this year. And let's see, I have some little gold enamel dots that we're going to use, and then this is just retired pink paper with a pink ribbon with a gold rim around it. We're going to be using that. We'll be using a couple of punches. To round corners on the envelope that I made, we'll be using the trio punch. And then to make some little embellishments of flowers, we're going to use the confetti border punch. So to get started, in our packet, because this is a long skinny card, our card base is going to be Rococo Rose, and it is cut 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 and scored at 2 7/8. We have a couple of pieces of Whisper White for the inside, and this is cut at 8 by 2 5/8. Our designer series paper is cut, I'm so sorry, is cut at 7 3/4 by 2 3/8. I have a little scrap of Rococo Rose for our backing for our sentiment, and I have a 3 by 3 square to stamp our thank you on. And then I have some little pieces here to cut out our little flowers for our embellishments. And I think that is about it. So first of all, we're going to get our stamping out of the way. I have the inside greeting mounted on the Stamparatus as I usually do. And I have the thank you. And we'll be using the Rococo Rose. And I'll just be stamping this down. Okay, that's ready to go. And then for our inside greeting, as I say, I have it mounted on our Stamparatus. And, sorry, excuse my arm, I know it's probably in the way. Camera's set up a little bit wonky today, I don't know why. So again, with the Stamparatus, you always make sure everything is up in the corner. And I'm going to ink this up. Stamp it down. This stamp, I love this saying, the little things you do so well and so often make a big difference to so many people. Okay, and we're done with that. Find a place to set this. Okay, now I'm going to show you another fun little thing that I have. This is the new, I guess I put this ink pad away. This is the new mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that Stampin' Up! Came out with. It is such a cute little thing. I love it. It's light. I thought it would be fun to show you this and to bring it out onto my table. So what happens is these fold down. I hope you can see all of it. And along with the machine, you get all of the plates that you might use. So for today, we're going to be using only framelits or dies. And so you get your base plate, which goes right here. And then you get your 2 cutting plates. And they have numbers on them, and I really like that. The other 2 plates that you get have to do with embossing folders, and whether it's a thick 3D folder or a regular, the skinny, thinner embossing folders determines what you use. Now, the one thing about this, our full-size embossing folders you cannot use because you see you only have about, I think it's about 3.5 inches across here. This is just a tiny machine, which makes it nice for me to load up here on this table and not have to carry that heavy one. And it works exactly the same as our Big Shot, except that everything folds down. So you'll have your base plate, your first cutting pad, you'll put your cardstock. I guess I should get my die out. And again, we're using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And the two dies that we are using are these two here. And we will put this in, put our die on top of it. This is the first time I've used this, ladies, so I hate to mess up the cutting plates because they are so pretty when they're not being used, but it's only natural and we need to use it. So, and then you just roll it through just like you would your Big Shot. It rolls pretty easily. You have to hold it because it is such a lightweight machine. And once you get them out, you have this beautiful cutout with the stitching around it, which works out really well. Now we're going to do our thank you. In the same process, we put in our cutting plate, our base plate, our cutting plate, and we're going to use this die, and it just fits around the thank you. And so I'm going to stick it on here and kind of get it lined up. I do believe they'll be coming out with a magnetic plate for this, which will be really nice. Right now they're having some quality issues with the magnetic plate for the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss, because there's a machine like this that is larger and does exactly everything that the Big Shot used to do. They no longer sell the Big Shot. I have not ordered one because I have several Big Shots and I just don't feel like I need to spend any more money. But I don't have one like this, and so I thought, yeah, this is perfect. And again, you just roll it through. It rolls very smoothly. I don't have the sturdiest of tables here, so it's kind of wobbly, but it works great. And then here's our other one that's gonna layer up on here. And the nice thing about this is I'll put my dies away so I don't lose them, because I've done that before and it's not a fun process to try and find them or not be able to find them. And once you're all done with it, you fold up the sides and you're finished. It's awesome. Okay, so I think we're done stamping. I think we can just start to build our card right now. So I'm going to first of all put this down. Try to kind of center it as best I can. What looks nice on this. These just fit together so nicely and make such nice layers. Okay. There's our greeting. Now our ribbon is actually going to go in the middle of this long piece. And so as I always do, I will take my Stampin' Seal, run it along the edges, kind of eyeball this in the center, wrap it around. Let's see. Pull it pretty taut. I don't like my ribbons to be bouncing around and have a lot of slack in the middle, so I do pull it pretty tight. And again, wrap it around. Okay. Then this is going to go on a sheet of white for backing, so we can again take our Stampin' Seal, put along the edges, bring our white piece down, and mount this onto this. Okay. And then that will go on our white piece, or I'm sorry, our card base, which I have not folded and burnished yet. And a little bit more Stampin' Seal. Now, the weather today here in Colorado is extremely chilly in my part of the world anyway, and slightly snowing, but boy, the wind is cold. So it's a day to stay inside. And really what I should be doing is getting started on my year-end paperwork, but I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe doing some more crafting. Okay, so there we go. Now we'll take the inside piece and do the same thing, put the Stampin' Seal on. And get this on the inside. Okay. So then we take this, and what we're going to do here, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back side of this. And I usually put 4 or 5 on here because I'm straddling the ribbon. And it's kind of the focal point of the card, so we don't want it to sag too much. And I do have a tendency to go overboard on dimensionals anyway, but they're not very expensive, and I think it's important that our cards don't get too squished when they go through the mail, and dimensionals will definitely get somewhat squished down. Okay, so then we will take these off, the backings off. And this is going, and actually on this one, I put it a little bit over to the left. You could center it, you could put it however you want. On a regular size card, I think I more or less centered it, but I just wanted to put this one over to the left, okay? And that's kind of our card, except for our little embellishments. So what I'm gonna do is take this confetti flower punch, and all it is just all kinds of little tiny flowers. And I only want, I'm going to put one on each end, and so I have a little white, tiny, narrow strip of white paper so that I can punch these out. And we just need 2 of them, so 2 for the outside and 3 for the inside. And I just use whatever I can find. Like I have this little scrap left over from our cutout. No sense in wasting another piece. I'm just going to use that. And we will do 3. Okay, and that takes care of that. So, I thought I brought in my little foam pad, but I guess I didn't. So I just what I kind of did is just put something that I could kind of push up the edges on these just a wee bit, just to give them a little bit of shape. Not quite as important on the ones on the inside, but the ones on the outside, they do hold their shape a little bit. Okay. And then we just take and put a little bit of glue . place each one of these little flowers on, just kind of cute. And then what I did on the inside is I took and I put 3 down here in this corner. You can embellish them however you want. You don't have to do the inside. It's just what you like to do. And here's my last one. I always try to kind of work in the patterns of 3, unless I'm decorating a specific edge like I was doing here. Okay, and then the next thing we do, these are little gold dots. These are available in the annual catalog. I love them. And I took the tiniest one. Let me see if I had my little sticky tool to pick them up with, but I don't. So hopefully these will come up. I was struggling last night getting them to come up. There we go. Oh, those aren't little tiny ones though. I want the baby ones. There we go. I want the itty bitty ones because these flowers are so tiny. Okay, let's get these open, shall we? Gee whiz. Oh, here it is. Wrong end I was on. Okay, here's the tiny ones. So I just took them and put them in the center of each little flower. Kind of matches the gold that's on the ribbon in the front. Okay, and there's our card. Now one more little added bonus that I was going to do, if you notice, this card was too big for number 10 envelope, and I don't really always like the way they look because they're a business envelope, let's face it. So I actually came up with a pattern and made a little envelope that just perfectly fits this little card. And so I'm going to show you how I did it. You don't need any special tools except for maybe a scoring tool. So what you do is, I made this little template. You cut out an 8 by a 9.5 piece of paper, whatever kind of paper you want. You can even use copy paper, although it's not very heavy. I bought a little bit of a heavier weight copy paper. And then you score it on you put the 9.5 inch side at the top of your scoreboard, and then you score down a 1/2 inch on each side. Then you flip it around and you put the 8 inch side up, and then you score it at 2 inches and at 5.5 inches. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut out these little pieces right here, and angle cut right here on both ends. You're going to do that. And here's what you're going to end up when you get done with that. You're going to have something that looks like this. Okay? So then what you do is you take the part that you're going to have to be your flap. Now what I also did is I took... I rounded my corners. I just thought it looked a little bit better. So I just used my trio corner punch and rounded every corner, the 4 corners that are going to actually kind of show. And this punch doesn't work as great on this table because it's not real steady and it wants to sag in the middle. But it gets the job done. Okay, so you round all 4 corners as best you can. Okay, and then what you're going to do, you decide what you want. I wanted the longer piece to be my flap, so I just took some, you can use any kind of glue that you want. And I just took it and went down the sides here of my the flap of my envelope. Fold in your flaps, push this up, and rub it down. And there's your little envelope. Very quick and easy and simple. And all I did is I cut a piece of the designer series paper to just glue along the top to dress it up a little bit. Not necessary at all. It's just something that I like to do And I just like having this nice, neat envelope for my card. So guys, that's it for today. I'll try to get back one more time this week to do another video. And I am working on setting a date for classes in February. Not sure if it's going to be the first weekend or the second weekend. I've got some other things coming up, and I have to go back to my nose specialist on Tuesday. But I'm thinking everything there is going to work out wonderfully. And for those of you who are praying for me, I thank you so much for your prayers. It's greatly appreciated. Enjoy your day. Stay inside. Stay warm. And take care. Blessings. Bye-bye.